And today, we have the Chinese. And the Prime Minister has denied it. And the army has contradicted the Prime Minister. It's true. The Prime Minister has denied it. The Prime Minister has denied it. And the army has disagreed with the Prime Minister that China is sitting on 4,000 square kilometers of our land, of our territory. The Prime Minister has denied that Chinese forces are inside our territory, but for some reason, our army keeps talking to the Chinese about their entry into our territory, and our Chief of Army Staff has said that the Chinese are inside our territory. This is a fact. This is not invention, this is a fact. Now, but the reason China is inside our territory is important. Because people think that wars are fought between armies and their weapons. But the fact of the matter is that wars are fought by industrial systems. The fact of the matter is that China has an industrial system that is far stronger, far bigger than our industrial system. And that is why they have the guts to come inside this country. The reason China is sitting inside this country is because Make in India has failed. The reason China is sitting inside this country is because India is refusing to produce. And I am worried that India is going to give up this revolution to the Chinese once again. The reason I made this reference is because everything is connected. If and when we fight a war with China, we will be fighting with Chinese electric motors, Chinese batteries, Chinese optics, and we will be buying Chinese motors, Chinese optics, Chinese batteries. It is a non-sustainable proposition. That is why for our security, for the future of our children, for the future of our country, we have to build a production system, and we cannot allow this revolution to go by. Now, the next step, we have a strategic partner called the United States. The partnership should focus on how India and the United States can work together to take advantage of this revolution. That is what the conversation should be on. Please understand that India is as important as the United States for the simple reason that they cannot build an industrial system without us. They cannot build a production system without us. No matter what they say, the Americans simply cannot do what India can do because their cost structure is much, much, much more expensive than ours. We can build things that the Americans would never imagine. India can do that. So that would be the first part of a president's address. We would talk to the youngsters in India and say to them, we want you to be partners in this revolution. We want to change the Indian banking system so you can have access to it. And we believe in you, we trust in you, and we believe you can take on the Chinese. That's the first part. The second part would be about participation. We have done a caste census in Telangana. And what we have found is shocking. Almost 90% of Telangana is either Dalit, Adivasi, backward, or minority. Almost 90%. And I am convinced that that is the story across the country. I am absolutely convinced that the OBC population of this country is not one less than 50%, possibly 55%. 16% are Dalits. 9% are Adivasis. 15% are minorities. Last budget, there was a photograph. You remember the photograph? Of course. वो मक्खन बांटने वाली, हलवा बांटने वाली फोटो. मैं हैरान हो गया कि इस बार फोटो ही हटा दी. हलवा खिलाया मगर दिखाया नहीं किसको खिलाया. प्लीज. तो at the center of any new development paradigm for this country, which runs parallel with the production paradigm I spoke of, which works together with the production paradigm I spoke of, is the participation of lower castes, OBCs, Dalits, Adivasis in the wealth of this country. If we look at the largest corporates in this country, they're all owned. None of them are owned by OBCs. None of them are owned by Dalits. None of them are owned by tribals. If we look at the biggest media companies that support the Prime Minister, every day we see the Prime Minister's pleasant face, smiling face on these media. None of them are owned by OBCs. None of them are owned by Dalits. None of them are owned by Adivasis. This is the fact. So central to any new development paradigm is the architecture of a new paradigm. And that architecture of the new paradigm can only be built once the caste census is placed on this table. Because once the caste census is placed on the table, we will know exactly how much of this country's wealth, how much of this country's power, how many of this country's institutions are owned by 90% of this country. There are OBC MPs in the BJP. There are OBC MPs in the BJP. There are Dalit MPs in the BJP. There are Adivasi MPs in the BJP. Remember, you are OBCs, you have 50% of the population and you have absolutely no power. I know that you're sitting there and you cannot even open your mouth.
Probably focus on.
That is the truth of the country.
And where we would lay emphasis.
Speaker sir.
So the future of this country is going to be decided
on one side
by the young men and women
and the Indian
youngsters, the youth of this country.
To participate in
so
the
I
coming
think
mobility
anything
revolution.
we say
Allow them to
has to be addressed
in building robots, in building drones,
has to be spoken
in building
to them.
electronic items, in building EVs.
The first
and on the other side, running parallel
thing in front of us. And this is something I'm sure the Prime Minister would accept.
One idea,
and pretty much everybody in this room
participate in the mobility
is that
revolution.
even though
whether you're thinking
we
of
have grown,
economy,
we have grown fast,
weapons,
we are growing slightly slower now, but we are still growing.
Healthcare,
A universal problem that we have faced
in this revolution, India
is
should
that
become
we
the
have
master
not
of the
been able
electric
to
motor,
tackle
master of the battery,
problem of
master of
unemployment.
optics, and master of AI applied on top of that production.
Neither the UPA government
Now imagine
nor today's
the power
NDA
of
government
AI when we
has
apply
given
to
a
the
clear
census.
cut
You imagine what we will do
to the
with
youth
AI
of India
and what we will do with the social revolution in this country when
I
we
don't
start
think
to
anybody
apply
in this
AI
room
on the data
will
that
disagree
we
with
get.
I'll give a
from the
little
class census. So we're going to run a parallel track.
For the Prime Minister.
On one side, participation, revolutionizing the participation of
something
Dalits, OBCs,
I would agree with directionally.
In the
Prime Minister proposed the Make in
ruling
India
of this
program.
country, in the institutions of this
I
country, in distribution of wealth of this country. And on the other side, parallel
we
track,
saw the statues,
challenge the Chinese,
we saw the functions,
participate in the revolution,
we saw the so-called
and defeat the
investment,
Chinese in electric motors, batteries,
and the result is right in front
solar
of you.
panels, and wind.
Manufacturing fell from 15.3% of GDP
of any
in
presidential
2014
address that any
to 12.6% of GDP today.
The final, of course, we go back to the Constitution.
The lowest share of manufacturing
our favorite,
in 60 years. I'm not even blaming the Prime Minister because
just like
I think
the production system
it would not
is
be
a
fair
weapon.
to say he didn't try.
Just like Jati
I could say that the Prime Minister
is a
tried,
weapon of transformation,
and I think
this
conceptually Make in India was a good
is
idea.
what the entire
But
architecture
it's
is
pretty
built
clear
on. I remember
that he failed.
before the elections,
Because
all of you were saying 400 par.
Manufacturing went from 15.3%
And you were
of
saying you would
GDP to
change this.
12.6%.
And then I was glad
So
to
the
see
first question that
the
any
Prime
alternative
Minister walked
vision
in
would answer
and then was forced to bow his head in
to
front
the
of
youngsters of our
Constitution.
country is, okay,
It
what
was a moment of
and
pride
how
for all Congress people
are we going to solve this
that we
problem?
had explained to the Prime Minister and to the whole country that no force will dare touch this.
Any country
I know that the
basically
RSS
organizes
has never
two things.
accepted this. Mohan Bhagwat
You can
has
organize
said
consumption,
that India didn't get
and
independence
then you
in
can organize
1947. He has said that this constitution
modern way
is
of saying
meaningless.
organizing consumption is
I know
services.
that is at your heart.
Modern way of
We
saying
will never
organizing
let
production
your dream come true.
is manufacturing.
This constitution
But there
is
is
going
more
to
to
India
production
always.
than simply manufacturing. For
Now,
example,
एक
agriculture
मिनट,
also is about.
Sir, Mohan Bhagwat
आप
ने
नियम प्रक्रियाओं की पालन
Sir,
करें।
pretty much
आपसे
every
पूछा।
government
Sir, Mohan
since
Bhagwat ji ने statement दिया।
1990 has done a decent job
Sir,
on consumption,
sir,
on organizing
one second.
consumption. Which are the companies that organize consumption?
Speaker, sir,
Uber
Mohan Bhagwat
organizes
ji made a
consumption.
statement saying that India
Reliance
did not receive
organizes
independence in 1947.
Adani
it received
organizes
independence
consumption.
when the Ram Mandir was inaugurated. We will
But
place
we
the
have,
table.
as a country,
place that on the table.
Failed
Now,
in
sir,
organizing production.
I would like to mention one
We have
small thing.
excellent
but very
companies
important thing.
that try to
Speaker, sir,
organize production. They are the Mahindras of this
This-
world. They are
this constitution,
the
this
Bajajis of this
constitution
world.
is
Part of
supported
Tata's organizes production.
by
But the record of the country on
this
organizing production is this.
constitution is supported by the vote.
And essentially what we have done is we
Without
have handed over
the
the
secure vote of the
organization of
Indian
production
people.
to the Chinese.
This
So,
constitution means
this
nothing.
mobile phone,
Now I want to
even
bring
though we are
to
saying
the
we,
notice of this house
we make this mobile phone in India,
some data,
that is
some
not a
information.
fact
This
about
phone
the
is not
Maharashtra
made in
election.
India. This phone is
very
assembled
simple
in
stuff.
India. All the components
Speaker,
of this
sir,
phone between
are
the Lok
made in
Sabha
China.
election,
The network that has produced this phone
which
is made
the
in
India
China,
Alliance won.
is owned by China.
and the
So
Vidhan
every
Sabha
time
election,
we use a phone,
every
the
time we
voting
wear a
population
Chinese
shirt, a
of
Bangladeshi
Himachal
shirt,
Pradesh, every time we wear a pair of Chinese sneakers,
the voting
we
roll
are paying a tax
of Maharashtra to China.
meaning the entire population
Because
of
some
Himachal
Chinese
Pradesh
youngster is earning a
was
salary
added
to make or to
to
produce
the
that
voter
product.
rolls of
So,
Maharashtra.
the first message
Please
I would
understand
give
what I am saying.
in a presidential address would be
In Lok Sabha,
that India has
the difference
to
between
focus
Lok Sabha and Vidhan
completely
Sabha
on production.
was because if we do
The
not
population
focus
of
on
Himachal,
production,
and we
entire
continue to
population,
focus
what
we continue to
almost
focus
70
only on
lakh new
consumption,
voters suddenly
we will
arrive
find that
between
we will
Lok
run
Sabha
huge
and Vidhan
deficits.
Sabha.
We will
Now,
increase inequality.
The most interesting
And
part,
eventually,
the most
we will
interesting
run
part,
into
and the
a
Prime
serious
Minister is
problem.
not looking at me.
Social problem because of unemployment, which we are already facing.
The most
If you look at the
interesting
numbers
part,
of the amount of people
the
who are
most
in jail,
interesting part,
if you look at the numbers
Municha
that are spent on
suddenly.
internal security,
the most
if
interesting
you look at the
part is-
numbers spent on our police forces, they're all spiraling. They're all rising. And everybody understands that social tension is on the rise in India.
Sir,
So now the next
Maharashtra
question
mein
comes, okay,
more voters were
so
added
where is this employment going
in
to come
5
from?
months in
What
Maharashtra.
is India going to produce?
Then were added in
And for
5
that,
years
I'd like to
in
tell
Maharashtra.
all the youngsters of this country
जितने 5 साल में
that there
add
is a
हुए,
revolution
उससे
taking
ज़्यादा,
place.
5
An
महीने
exciting
में add
revolution.
हुए। आखिरी 5 महीने में
The world is
लोकसभा चुनाव के बाद।
transforming completely.
सर
And the change that is taking place,
एक बिल्डिंग है सर
at the heart of the change that is taking place,
शिरडी में
we are moving from the
एक
world
बिल्डिंग में
of the internal combustion engine
7,000 नए
to the
वोटर
world
एक
of the
बिल्डिंग
electric
में
motor.
ऐड हुए सर
We are
एक
moving
बिल्डिंग
from
में 7,000 नए
petrol
वोटर ऐड हुए सर
to batteries. We are moving
सर
wind,
मैं कोई आरोप नहीं
solar,
लगा रहा हूं
potentially nuclear energy.
मैं कोई
So
आरोप नहीं लगा
our
रहा हूं
entire
मैं
way
सिर्फ
of
ये कह रहा हूं
moving
सर कि ये
is changing. And this is
इसमें
going to
कुछ ना
change
कुछ
every single
problematic
thing. It is going to change warfare. It is
हिमाचल
going to
प्रदेश
change
जितने
medical
बड़े
treatment. It is going to change education.
Voters,
It is going to change
लोकसभा
how
के
we
बाद
eat. It is going to
जादू
change
से
every single thing.
आ जाते हैं
Now,
अब हम क्या कह रहे
the
हैं
last time there was a
हमने
revolution
इलेक्शन कमीशन से रिपीटेडली
called
कहा
the
है
computer revolution,
कि
the government of India had a
हम
clear
आरोप
focus.
नहीं लगा रहे हैं आप एक काम
We looked
कीजिए
at that revolution.
हमें
It was the
लोकसभा
Congress
की
government.
वोटर
We
लिस्ट
looked
दे
at the
दीजिए
revolution and we decided
नेम
clearly
एड्रेस और इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली
that
दीजिए
we are going to focus
और विधानसभा
on the development of
नहीं है।
software. And we rode
नहीं,
the
sir।
wave of that revolution.
नहीं।
And today you can see the result.
Speaker,
I
sir।
remember
Speaker, sir,
people laughing.
सब
Let me
वेबसाइट
speak।
पे रहती है, सब जानते
I
हैं।
remember people laughing when
कभी भी कोई निकाल सकता है।
the computer was being talked
Speaker,
about.
sir,
You
मैं
mentioned
समझा
Mr.
देता हूं, sir।
Vajpayee.
Speaker,
I
sir।
respect Mr. Vajpayee. But
Speaker,
Mr.
sir।
Vajpayee gave a speech
वो-
saying that computers are of no consequence to India. So, what is important when there is a
Speaker,
revolution?
sir,
What is important
we have asked-
is that you understand
Speaker,
what are
sir,
the drivers of that revolution and where exactly do you need to focus, where
Speaker, sir,
exactly do you need to
we
sit
are
in
asking
that
this
revolution.
question. We are asking this.
I said that this revolution is going to change
Speaker, sir,
everything. And I want the youngsters in this country to think
Population
about
of Himachal Pradesh.
it. There is a war going on in Ukraine. The war in Ukraine is actually a war between
Population
the
of
internal
Himachal
combustion
Pradesh
engine
has voted.
and the motor.
Extra has
The
voted in
electric
Maharashtra.
motor. The electric motor
We are saying
is
to
inside the
Election
drone.
Commission,
The engine is
please
inside the
give
tank.
us
And
the
if you look
names
at what
and
is going on in
addresses
Ukraine,
and polling
the
booths
tanks
of
are
all the
dying by the
workers
thousands.
in the Lok Sabha
And small
and all the
drones with
workers in the
electric
Vidhan Sabha,
motors,
so we can
small
calculate
batteries,
who
not
these
much
new
bigger,
workers are.
not much bigger than that,
Who these new voters
are
are.
destroying
Interestingly,
the entire
the new voters are
artillery
mostly in the
infrastructure of
constituencies
both
that
Ukraine and
BJP
Russia.
has swept.
So the drone
Please understand,
is the electric
the
motor.
new voters have
The
been
drone
added
is the
mostly in the constituencies where
The drone
BJP
also
has
needs
swept.
to see.
I am still not making an
So the drone
allegation.
is a camera.
I am saying on the floor of the House
In the
that
same
the
way,
Election Commission has
electric
to give
cars.
the data of the
The electric
Maharashtra
car is the
elections to the Congress
electric
party,
car is
to the Shiv Sena,
The
and
electric
to the
car is
NCP, so that we can see
Robots are
exactly where these
exactly the
voters
same
have been
thing.
added,
Robots are
who
electric
has been
motors,
subtracted,
multiple
who has been
electric
added,
motors
where they have been added.
with cameras,
This is not
with batteries.
a
And this is what the
request.
revolution is going to look like.
This
So
is
there
a
are
very
basically
simple
four
request
technologies
for them to fulfill.
that
The
are
reason I am
driving
saying
this
this, sir,
entire change
is
in
because
mobility.
the rules have been changed. It is not.
Electric
This is
motors,
not just said in isolation.
batteries,
Speaker, sir,
optics,
the election commissioner
and then on top
used
of
to
that,
be chosen
you can
by
apply
the Prime
AI.
Minister, Leader of
Now,
Opposition,
people-
and the Chief Justice. Sir, the Chief
I want to tell
Justice
the youngsters of this
was
country,
removed
people
from
talk
that
about
committee.
AI.
Why? This is a
But it's
question,
important to
sir.
understand that
This is a
AI
question
on
to
its
the Prime
own
Minister. Why was the
is
Chief Justice
absolutely
removed
meaningless.
from the committee?
because
Now,
AI
in a few
operates
days, I'm
on
going
top
to
of
go
data.
to the meeting.
Without data,
I'm going to go to the meeting. There's going
AI
to be Mr.
means
Amit Shah and
nothing.
Mr. Modi ji.
And if we
and
look
there's going to be me.
at
2
data
to 1.
today,
Why am I even
there is
going to the meeting? What is the purpose
one
of me
thing
going
which
to
is
the meeting?
very clear.
I'm only going to the meeting to certify
Every
what
single
Modi
piece
ji
of
and,
data
Amit Shah ji are going to say.
that comes out of
Whereas
the
if
production
election,
system in the
whereas
world.
if the Chief Justice was there could be a discussion.
The data that was used
Chief
to make
Justice
this
and
phone,
Leader of Opposition could
the
say,
data
no, we
that
don't
is used
agree.
to make electric cars,
So,
the data
there
that
seems
is
to
used to
be
make basically
a
all
calculated
electronics
strategy.
on
Now,
the planet today
just
is owned by
prior to
China.
the Lok Sabha, the election commissioner was
And
changed and 2 new election
The
commissioners
consumption
were placed.
data
We know,
is owned by the United
we know.
In China,
that
the consumption data is
election
owned
dates were changed.
by China.
We know that
But
the
in
elections
India,
were postponed. These are
companies
facts.
like Google,
These are not
companies
things
like
I am inventing.
Facebook, companies like
So, in order to safeguard this
Instagram,
constitution,
X, they own
the
our
entire
consumption
opposition,
So if India wants to
requests
talk about AI,
the
it
data
has to first
for the
answer the
Maharashtra
question.
election. We request
What
the
data
data
is going
and the
to power that data?
electoral voter list.
And the
for
answer
Lok Sabha,
today is-
and the answer today is India does not have that data. And I am very
Neither does
confident
India have production
that
data.
the election
Neither does
commission
India have
will
consumption
not
data.
give us this.
We have handed our consumption data to the big
Speaker,
American
sir,
companies,
That
and the
is
production
what that
data
is
we
broadly.
don't.
So
we don't
the
have
third
anyway.
element. The
So
third
what would that
element
vision
of
look
our
like? The first thing,
president's address
we would start getting
would be
youngsters
a
excited
determined
about this revolution.
defense of India's
We would start
institutions,
to
our democratic
introduce
system,
the idea
and
of a completely new way of moving.
at our
A
entire democratic framework,
complete revolution in
and
how things
the-
move. We would start
looking
teaching
again
our children in
at
schools
all the
about
institutions that
batteries,
have been
about
taken
electric
away
motors, about how
from
these
the
things
people of
combine.
So
about
those would
how
be the
drones,
type of things that we would
robots,
say in a
electric
presidential
cars
address.
are
I'd like
structured,
to
how they will
finally
work
say one
together.
thing.
And
In the last,
most important, थोड़ा बढ़ा देता हूं, we have to start building
अब मैं
a
थोड़ा और
production
खींचूंगा।
network
अब और
so that
खींचूंगा
we
थोड़ा।
can get access to
अब और
production.
So,
Now, what
so
would
in
we
the
focus
last,
on? We would not give you a laundry list.
there is a background,
China has
a philosophical
at
background
least a
to what I am
10-year
saying.
lead on India. in this
Essentially,
space.
what I am saying
China has been
to
working
the
on
youngsters of India
batteries,
and to
robots,
this house
motors, optics
is that instead of
for the last 10 years,
focusing on multiple
and
things,
we are behind. So
instead
what
of
would our
telling us a
president's
laundry
address say
list,
to the youngsters?
Give us
we
a
will
strategy.
choose
Give us a vision.
critical
Make it
areas
clear.
in each one
Right.
of these technologies.
Now,
And we will start to build
there is a
capabilities
philosophical
in those
basis
areas.
to this.
The second
There is
thing
a-
we would do,
Even a
we would ensure
deep
that our banking
philosophical
system
basis to this.
if
Is not
I showed you the
captured by
picture
2 or 3 companies
of Shivji, which you
that
didn't
basically
allow
do
me
not
to
allow you to
show
build
the
a
production system.
I showed that
But
picture
our
for a
banking
reason.
system is open,
What does
is
what
dynamic,
what does that
and
picture
is
tell us?
accessible to small and
If you
medium
look at that
businesses
picture carefully,
and to millions
it
and
tells
millions of
us-
entrepreneurs who want to take part in this revolution.
Focus.
Our
Carefully.
foreign policy
Do not get
would take into
distracted.
account this revolution.
Do not
when
look
we
here
talk to
and
the
there.
United States, we would not send our foreign
Do the
minister
job at hand.
to invite our prime minister
So there is
to
a
his
philosophical basis to the speech I have given.
coronation.
I have not told
We would not send him 3
the
or 4
House
times,
and the
please
country
invite
that
our
we will
prime
do
minister.
this, this,
because
this,
if we
this,
had a
this,
production
this, and
system,
this.
and if we were
This is
working on these technologies, the
the
American
philosophy of
president would come here and invite the
say
prime
what you
minister.
have to say. So
But be
it is
clear
important to understand
that you're going to do that one thing and don't do 56, 70 different things.
So there is a link between
So,
our philosophical tradition, our religious tradition,
I'm sorry
and what I'm
that
saying.
disturbed you,
And that is
that
what
question.
India needs to do.
I apologize
India
for
needs to
disturbing
connect
your peace of mind.
the past, the values of the past.
I've apologized.
You talk
I've apologized.
about Sardar
I've apologized for disturbing
but you
your peace
destroy
of mind.
Sardar
I'm sorry.
Patelji's values every
So
day.
we would
You
start
talk
by
about
telling
Ambedkarji.
our
You destroy his values every day.
young men and women
You talk about Nehruji. No,
that
you
they
don't talk
have
about
to
Nehruji.
be at the forefront of this
Right.
revolution.
Right.
We cannot afford
You
that
bow
the
in
Chinese
front
are
of
at the forefront
Buddha.
of this revolution.
You destroy what he
Number
says.
one. Number two,
So the point is,
we will ensure
you have to be truthful
that the
to
absolute
what you
best
are.
experts
Right? And it
on
is
these
important that
technologies
when
you are
who
giving
talk
to our students
a way forward
talk
to the
our
nation,
youngsters,
there is
and
clarity
guide them on
there
what
is
a
clarity
future
of purpose.
on
There is
what
no
these
hatred.
future
There is
technologies
no
are going to
violence.
do.
There is no anger.
We would make
because
them
these things are destroying us.
partners in this revolution. So my speech has not been angry, has not been
Now-
nasty. My speech has been very polite, very kind.
We talk
and
about-
I thank the Prime Minister for coming and listening to it. Defense.